Morning, guys. It's 6:45, is it? So that 12 minutes to 7 a.m. This is pretty normal for me. I always get up 6, quarter to 6, potter around, do a bit of washing up, and make a tea. Just put my hat on. Got my hat on today that Donna Presely got me with Karen. So I want to play part 2 of Ginger Alden, her book, chapter 22. Now I'm jumping around on the chapters. Can't be bothered to go from the beginning to the end. I like to just jump around. I'm doing this young lady from the channel. Let me just get her name. The channel up.
Ginger says she did her from Elvis for two.
Hang on, let's go back a bit. Whatnow.net. She's lovely. I really like her reviews. I just find them quite laid back. You can just sit here, chill out. I'm not awake yet. I got myself a cup of tea in my daddy mug. I need to come back to life. Takes me a cup of tea and a coffee, and I will be rejuvenated. So I was very good on the diet yesterday, guys. Stuck to the meat and eggs. I did have a bit of salad, which is okay, just a small amount. And so after having a couple of bad days, we've started on a Monday on the right foot. So, welcome to Defending Elvis. Just in case you didn't watch much of yesterday, I have started posting more videos on Elvis Presley Fan on Keto, which is an Elvis channel, but also a health channel that is concerning what we eat and the carnivore diet, the keto diet, and Dr. Ken Berry. Yeah, I did a live stream on there and a video, I think, and the short. Same goes for Elvis Presley long lost footage. I did post a live on there. We went for a dog walk. We did an Elvis topic on there with George Klein, I think it was, and there's a couple of shorts on there. Elvis is army clothing. So I have started jumping around on the channels, and I'm going to try and keep the defending here, but we will do some topics other than defending on this channel, Defending Elvis Presley with a Forgiving Heart. So a bit of a mixed bag. So please subscribe to the other 2 channels so you don't miss out and you get the notifications. And thank you for subscribing to all of the channels. Welcome to the new members. We've got a couple of new members. Thank you. It's only like $1.50 or something. It's pennies, but it means a lot to me. I love that we've got members. Yeah, it shows me support. It's very, it matters to me. Anyone that buys me a coffee or super thank you, that's very kind of you. So we started doing this yesterday, chapter 22. I'm not going to lie to you. I found a few parts of chapter 22 a bit uncomfortable, a bit close to the knuckle. So, Ginger Alden's book, I'll just plug my earphones in. Ginger Alden's book, it is a really nice book. It's got some lovely stories in it. I'm a fan of Ginger Alden. There's a couple of bits in there that are uncomfortable to listen to. You know me, guys. Sometimes I do feel I'm the same with Linda's book. A little thing called Life, which is not all about Elvis. It's got her relationships in there as well, Bruce Jenner, etc. Great books, but there's some things I just feel you could have left them out. You didn't have to bring them up, but they're in there. So I played the first half of chapter 22 of Ginger Alden's book, Ginger and Elvis and Ginger. I wanted to this morning do the second half. I'm jumping around on topics today. I'm going to do a topic on King Creole, not just the movie, the making of it, how it was affected by Elvis going into the army, and the story around King Creole. So that will probably be on Elvis Presley long lost footage. On here, I've already posted it on Facebook. I want to do. Let me see if I can get it up. The story of It's probably disappeared. Now, there we are. This story of Blancard Tool, who is known as a hero. Very quickly, Colonel Parker's self-dealing in his management of Elvis's career from the beginning, then asked the court to oust him from all estate dealings and forced him to negotiate for the estate to obtain Parker's 2 warehouses full of well-preserved and catalogued items from the length of Elvis's career. Parker threw away nothing. Because of this, the estate acquired enough to fill the museum we get to visit today. The city of Memphis Morgan opening Graceland as a museum. They were working on financing when Vernon died. So that wasn't some brilliant idea of Priscilla's. Yeah, so obviously, you know how I feel. I don't like that Priscilla takes all credit for everything to do with saving Graceland and the opening of the Living Museum. You know how I feel, guys. We did a show on it yesterday, I think. So this particular part is, so then we've got the Parker's deal to do with of managing the estate, that he got 50%, and Blancard Tool put an end to that. It's a complicated story. I've tried to do a deep dive into it. I've posted it on Facebook, and we're going to do that as a show later. Not this morning, I need to wake up. But on here, on Defending Elvis, Blancard Tool, we're going to discuss him. So let's quickly, before the kids come down, let's quickly play part 2 of the book, Elvis and Ginger. This young lady, please subscribe to her channel, whatnow.net. We did part 1 yesterday morning, if you want to watch it. As I've said, chapter 22 is a bit close to the knuckle. There's good parts, but then you get some very sensitive parts. I haven't watched the second part of this, so I'm going to be reacting fresh. I hope it's not going to upset me, but we'll see. Let's listen to what the young lady has to say. So I'll make sure you can see what I can see. She's worth subscribing to, guys. She's done a few books. She's done From Here to the Great Unknown and other books as well. It's just easy listening. You can get yourself a cup of tea and just listen to this young lady's book reviews. They're pretty good.
Things better. And she hoped he understood that she brought up his medication only because she deeply cared about him. Ginger says she didn't hear from Elvis for 2 days and began to wonder if their relationship was over, and she was miserable. Elvis called her on the 3rd day, telling her he...
So come on, guys, you can imagine that. You know, she spent some time with Elvis, and suddenly he goes quiet on her. So, like all relationships, you get a bit insecure, you get worried, and it's Elvis. Yeah. It's obvious they deeply liked each other. Yeah, so let's keep going.
Missed her and wanted her back on the tour. She was thrilled, and she told him she missed him too, and he made arrangements for her to return right away. So do you think Elvis had another woman on, like, did he bring another woman in Ginger's absence? Anyway, she says the next day...
So, come on, guys, we know a few girls get mentioned. Is it Kathy Westmoreland and Alicia Kerwin? And, you know, there's information out there, but I will say this. You get both sides of it. You get some people that say, yeah, 100% this happened, but then you get someone completely disprove it. So we don't know if anything really happened with Kathy Westmoreland or Alicia Kerwin. It's, you know, I don't trust books. I know that books say things. I don't trust them. Yeah. I always question books. I always read between the lines. We weren't there. We don't know, do we? Let's keep going.
A car pulled up to her house to take her to the airport, and she was very surprised to see Elvis sitting in the back seat. She thought he would have sent one of the guys to pick her up, but he had actually left his tour to come get her. She...
That's nice. That's romantic. Don't you think? He must have missed her.
Climbed in the car and saw that a bodyguard, Billy Smith, and Larry Geller were also in the vehicle. She says she felt...
So you got 3 guys at the back. That's interesting.
Felt bad that she may have inconvenienced some of them. She says Elvis smiled but was quiet after she put her head on his shoulder as a silent way to say, I'm so happy to see you again. He held
Oh, that's sweet. I think it's just he held her hand. That's sweet.
her hand. Back in his bedroom on the Lisa Marie, Elvis told her he knew that she was really upset about her parents, excuse me, her parents' marital situation, and he wanted to help her with it. Ginger remembered how he
No surprise that Elvis wants to help her parents.
reacted the night she brought up her concerns about her parents and his medication use and how he sent her home. She was more careful about how to approach the subject now because she wanted
So yeah, that tells me that she felt bringing up his medication is why he sent her home.
she wanted to get through to him how she felt about his usage. Ginger said, quote, Elvis, you mentioned that you thought I was unhappy with you. I love you. But it's how the medication makes you act sometimes that I don't like.
Well, that's understandable. I mean, come on, let's face it, guys. I don't know how many of you have ever been on strong medication, all different kinds of medication, not just pain medication. Don't forget, Elvis had many health problems, couldn't sleep, in a lot of pain, discomfort. Yeah. Medication has side effects, doesn't it, guys? And you get mood swings. You do. It does affect you. I'm sure many of you know.
Ginger says Elvis tapped his temple with his finger and said, Ginger, you don't understand me. She told him she was trying, but he changed the subject to art. He said he would set up a room where she could do her art at Graceland. Ginger says, quote, any conversation about medication
I didn't know that. Did he? Did Elvis set up a room where she could do art?
would have to be approached carefully and in time. I knew I couldn't change things in one day, but I was determined to keep trying. Ginger says,
I think that's good. She wanted to help. She loved him.
one night towards the end of the tour, Elvis was on stage sitting at the piano singing Unchained Melody.
Wow.
A few audience members
I mean, wow, guys.
threw coins at him, and this made him very angry because he thought they were trying to hurt him. Ginger tried to calm him down and told him that his fans loved him and wanted to see him perform, but it was difficult to see him when he was sitting down. She told him his fans loved him so much he could just walk on stage and not say a thing and they'd still be happy. Vernon, though, was much more
True.
blunt, telling Elvis, son, they don't pay to see you sit down. They returned to Memphis before Elvis's tour would start again in a couple of weeks. Ginger says on June 4th, Elvis was in a great mood and wanted to surprise Larry and Elvis's backup singer, Kathy Westmoreland, with brand new Lincoln Continentals. She says Billy Smith and Ricky
Pretty generous. Oh, I'm going to surprise these people. Just bung them a brand new Lincoln Continental.
were there for the surprise. While Ginger and Kathy looked over Kathy's new car, Charlie came out and Elvis told Ginger to go on a test drive with Kathy. When the girls got back from their drive around the neighborhood, she saw only Billy was standing on the porch holding the jug of water Elvis had
So Billy Smith, yeah?
before they took off for the test drive. She says Billy had a solemn look on his face. Billy handed her the jug and told her to take it upstairs to Elvis, and then just walked away. Ginger was confused about what was going on, so she went upstairs and found Elvis and Charlie in the bathroom. Elvis looked deep in thought, and Charlie was sitting on the toilet with his back face to her, but neither one of them were talking. She says she walked around to look at Charlie and saw his nose was bloody and swollen, and she asked what happened.
Okay, I don't know about this. Let's keep going.
She says Elvis laughed nervously and told her, well, Charlie was drinking and mouthing off about me giving cars to Kathy and Larry and saying something about him getting a Rolls Royce and prices and was embarrassing me. I told him to shut up. He was spoiling the moment. Charlie had told Elvis to hit him, so Elvis did. Ginger says Charlie gave a stiff laugh and then played it off as no big deal. She says they joked around for a bit and then Charlie walked out. She could tell Elvis felt bad for what had happened and kept saying, Charlie shouldn't have done that. Ginger says she felt that they were both in the wrong. Charlie Charlie should know Elvis well enough to understand gift giving moments were huge to him. She wondered if there were problems rising between Elvis and Charlie too, because who would punch a friend even if they asked for it? When they woke later that afternoon,
Yeah, so I haven't heard this story. I have heard that Elvis with Charlie's drinking. I love Charlie. We all love Charlie. Okay, he's been an extremely loyal friend to Elvis. We all have a lot of love for him. But I have heard that his drinking would go too far uh, and would cause problems, and Elvis would feel very awkward with Charlie's drinking. So I didn't realise that this actual incident had happened. Um, so she's a bit sad. But I also understand killing the moment Elvis has just given away 2 cars and it's caused an argument. Charlie probably being protective, saying Elvis is being too generous, which is well known. Yeah. Um, it does sound very awkward though.
Ginger says Elvis was really down and told her he wanted to go to Vegas. And Ginger thought he was just trying to run away from what happened. Ginger says she told Billy this later, and Billy told her she shouldn't accompany Elvis to Vegas because he, quote, would probably get something he didn't need. She didn't know what Billy meant by this, and
Okay, so I can see what's coming. Um, Guys, I haven't watched this. I read the book a year ago. So Ginger has given me permission to read parts of that book. But let's keep going.
she didn't ask. She says she told Elvis she didn't think he should go to Vegas and run away from his problems. He was quiet and didn't say anything else about going to Vegas, and after a while, it seemed that his mood improved. Ginger went home the next morning, and when she called Graceland,
I mean, she walked into a very upsetting moment, didn't she? Yeah. So, okay, let's keep
she
going.
was surprised to hear Elvis was not there. And she wondered if he had gone to Vegas after all, and she began to worry. Ginger says later that night, Elvis called her, and she suspected he was calling her from Vegas. Ginger says, quote, from his heavy-sounding voice, it sounded like he'd taken sleep medication. He told her he missed her, and she told him she missed him, and asked where he was, but he didn't say anything. Ginger says she knew he was in no condition to have a conversation, so the call was brief before they hung up.
Yeah, it's awkward, isn't it, guys? We're listening to this. It's quite heartfelt. We love Elvis. We're concerned for him. We know that the prescription medication was a problem. Elvis, in a lot of pain, discomfort, couldn't sleep, and his body was just letting him down as well. Of course, there's side effects to the medication. Some of it even addictive. Just this is quite a bit upsetting, quite sad. But let's keep going.
The next afternoon, someone from Graceland called and told her Elvis wanted her to go over, but didn't put Elvis on the phone. She rushed over to Graceland to find Elvis in bed, his eyes closed, and he was hooked up to an IV. Charlie and Billy, along with a few others, were there, and Dr. Nick was sitting in a chair. She sat on the bed next to Elvis. Charlie told her Elvis had gone to Vegas and taken, quote, too much medication. Ginger was scared.
Yeah, uh, you know, I think that we have to accept there was a problem with Elvis. I think sometimes himself self-medicate. Uh, Elvis was very knowledgeable about medication. Um, I think isn't it something that everyone is guilty of? If you people on sleeping tablets, people on painkillers, you feel sick, you're in pain, you take an extra tablet. You can't sleep, you take an extra tablet. I know many people. Um, we've all had that problem at some point. When you're desperate, you turn to your doctor gives you pills. It's a vicious circle, isn't it? Whether it be sleep or pain or discomfort or health problems, you're trying to fix yourself, you turn to your doctor, you think your doctor can fix everything. It's so sad, really sad, guys.
And it was devastating to see Elvis like this. She felt that all of this was caused by the incident with Charlie. She says people started to slowly leave the room, and when she was alone with Elvis, she began to tear up. She looked at Elvis when she felt him move on the bed and saw
I mean, Elvis really loved Charlie, didn't he? So that would have upset him. That definitely would have upset him.
him slowly open his eyes, and with a shaky hand, he wiped a tear from her eye. Ginger tried to smile, but she had so many questions in her head. She was overwhelmed with confusion and anger, wondering who had.
I mean, we can't ignore she was so young, 20, is she 20, 21? It's like, and she's been thrown into this world of Elvis. Don't forget, Elvis is surrounded by people looking after him, friends, family. He's the center of everything, isn't he? He's the one that has to go out and perform. He's definitely overworked. We know that. We are going to do a Colonel Tom Parker video. Peter Guralnick's book. I'd like to review that, and he's been in an interview recently, and I want to review that as well. I expect quite a few of you have seen it. It's very good. It's like a news interview. It discusses many things concerning Colonel Tom Parker. But this is upsetting, isn't it, guys? To me, it just all got too much. Yeah, I think Ginger inherited a very complex situation. I mean, Elvis saying, "You don't understand me." I get that. But I also think there were upbeat times, positive times where Elvis was himself. So it's not all negative.
Gone with Elvis to Las Vegas because he would never have gone alone. She wondered why no one stopped him if someone like Billy suspected this behavior, and what Dr. Nick thought when he saw Elvis in that state. Ginger says they went to sleep, and by the next day, Elvis was back to himself, but they didn't talk about what happened. Ginger said,
So he had a rough night, didn't he? He had a rough night, I can tell. It was a tough day.
as, quote, in retrospect, I can't help but feel that Elvis's plunge into that kind of extreme depression for those few days was exacerbated by Elvis's knowledge of this scathingly negative book coming out, written by his former bodyguards, Dave Hebler and Red and Sonny West. Ginger says,
Well, that would explain some of what she's saying. So, right, okay. So she just said extreme depression. Yeah. So obviously we know we're upset with this book, aren't we? Yeah, we see it as a betrayal, as Elvis's friends letting him down, especially Sonny and Red, who were there near the beginning. Yeah. And were genuinely close friends of Elvis. Elvis genuinely loved Sonny and Red, and they loved Elvis. So of course Elvis was devastated by it. And isn't this really the first book that really tells the world something isn't right? Yeah, obviously there were rumors, there were tabloid things, but that book really rubber stamped it. Yeah, I definitely feel that that book should never have been made. I understand there's many circumstances that led to the decision. I can't even say it, to the decision to go ahead and do that book, but ultimately it was about money. It was about money and their 15 minutes of fame. And I've always wished that these people thoroughly said sorry for doing it. I don't think they ever really did. I think I think Sonny did a bit. Dave Hebler, 100% from what I've watched, has never apologized, not properly. If anything, he stands by the book, which, when people, it's been 50 years more or less, hasn't it, guys? I understand that we have to just sort of let it go and move on and try and forgive and try and be understanding. I understand that. But I will always say friends should not betray friends. But that doesn't mean I think these people should receive hate. Obviously, Dave Hebler's still with us. I don't think they should get hate. I don't. They've had 50 years of it. Obviously, Sonny and Red are not with us. I know that this, from the research I've done, this seriously affected Red and Sonny for the rest of their lives. I think every day of their lives. And I've always felt that in their hearts they regretted that book. We know about the secret phone call that Red West did with Dave Hebler sat next to him. Elvis very forgiving, very fair, very friendly, very respectful. I actually found Elvis very understanding in that phone call. Go and watch it on YouTube, guys. But it, to secretly record Elvis, maybe in the hope to catch him saying something that he shouldn't, to show him up. I can't get used to the fact that that book happened. Do I believe they did the book to help Elvis? No. But do I think that they were not expecting him to die within weeks of it being released? Now that was a shocker. You can tell when you watch the interview, the press conference. They're surprised Elvis died. Yeah, it's like they knew that once Elvis died, there was going to be a massive backlash of support for Elvis from the fans. The fans were very, very upset with these guys. It's clear. Go and watch the footage of the press conference, guys. It's bloody a hard watch. It's a hard watch. So a mistake, and like she just says, Ginger feels that there's a possibility that this was a massive influence on how Elvis felt, could have affected the amount of medication he was taking, could have made Elvis depressed, pretty tough.
So one day, Elvis let her drive the sets to her family's home. She drove very carefully, and after she got home and spent some time with her dog, Odyssey, she and Terry drove the Stutz to her friend Cindy's house. When they got to Cindy's house, Ginger says a man from the press walked up to her and asked if he could take a picture of her next to the car. It dawned on Ginger that the car stood out so much as Elvis's car, and this man must have recognized it and followed her. Ginger says she didn't want to look like she was flaunting the car, so she said no to the picture. She says the man ended up taking a picture of Cindy next to the car, and the photo appeared in the paper the next day, referring to Ginger as Elvis's, quote, friend. Ginger says shortly after that, Elvis told her CBS was going to do a special on him and they would film him during his next tour. He sent her and Rosemary on a shopping trip to Los Angeles to get nice clothes for it. While in LA, they visited Joe's apartment where he showed them pictures of Elvis he had taken over the years. She saw pictures of Joe's girlfriend Shirley with Priscilla and realized Joe must be friends with Priscilla too. My daughter's
I think they all were eventually.
practicing violin, so you might be able to hear it in the background.
That's sweet.
Ginger says Elvis had forgotten to give her money for shopping, so Joe called him and Elvis wired money. She says Joe laughed when he saw that Elvis had wired over $2,000 and said, quote, that would only pay for one of Linda's outfits. Ginger thought Linda must have expensive taste because that was more than enough for Ginger's outfits. Ginger and Rosemary did some sightseeing in Los Angeles, and after a couple of days, they flew back home.
So is Linda still receiving money? Linda Thompson, is Elvis still sending her money? Is she still asking for money? Interesting. Linda Thompson.
On an American Airlines flight. Ginger recalls that Kenny Rogers, Brenda Lee, and actor David Huddleston were on the flight. Huddleston joked around with her and Rosemary while Kenny Rogers sat in front of them.
Oh, we love Kenny Rogers, don't we? Come on, guys.
And she told him that she and Elvis had recently enjoyed his performance of Sweet Music Man. She says Kenny gave her a cassette recording of an album that he was soon releasing that had that track on it. Brenda Lee was warm and helpful.
Interesting. And he's an Elvis fan, isn't he, Kenny Rogers?
Even trying to clean a stain on Ginger's top with a Japanese fabric product. And Ginger realized that a year earlier, stars like Brenda, Kenny, and David probably wouldn't have spoken to her. And she felt grateful that being with Elvis had opened this new, exciting world to her.
It's the truth, guys. Anyone connected to Elvis, anyone, people want to know. People want to know them, want to hear their story, want to touch them, like wow, you knew Elvis. Not just friends and family, but anyone, co-stars, anyone that just chatted with him, that might have briefly met him, even watched him in concert. That's how I keep saying this. It's only Elvis that has that. Only Elvis. I can't think of any other star that is like that. Only Elvis, where anything that connects to Elvis, people want to know. They want to know the details. Even if it's minute, even if it was a very brief meeting, only Elvis has that. 50 years later, people can still tell their stories about, even if they only met Elvis for 1 minute or lived with him for a lifetime. Get it? That's how special Elvis is. Pretty amazing.
By the time Ginger got back to Graceland, Lisa was in town and had taken to calling Ginger by Elvis's nickname for her, Gingerbread. She says Lisa hadn't been told about their engagement yet, saying Elvis wanted to wait for the right time. Ginger
Well, that's interesting. So the Linda Thompson comes up in this little triangle. Obviously, she's the girlfriend before Ginger. That's a complex story. The relationship between Linda Thompson and Elvis. We've covered it many times. We will cover it again. We will review this book as well. We're going to look at how generous Elvis was with Linda after they broke up. Many fans adore Linda. We know the Memphis Mafia adored her. There was a time when Linda and Elvis were extremely close, deeply in love, I think, at first. So we're going to cover that topic.
says, quote, this would represent a significant change in his daughter's life, and he wanted the announcement handled properly. He asked me not to share the news with her yet either. Ginger says Lisa often played outside at Graceland and one day invited her for.
So before we go on to Lisa, I'm interested to know the friendship between Ginger and Linda and how that stood the test of time after Elvis passed. I mean, Linda obviously massively defends Elvis and speaks beautifully about him, but she has said things in her book that I wish she hadn't. Yeah, I'll be honest. Um, so, she doesn't defend Elvis like Donna Presely does. Donna Presely stands up for Elvis, challenges people, yeah, in a respectful, kind way. Donna's very classy, how she defends her family, the Presleys, Elvis, her cousin. So people defend in different ways. Like Linda will share sweet stories, sweet memories concerning her, Elvis, and Lisa. She got on very well with the Memphis Mafia. She was really accepted, wasn't she? The Smiths really liked her, didn't they? Yeah. Ginger defends in another way. She's very positive about Elvis, looking forward to the future, wanting to get married, have a family. Obviously, the upcoming tour. So it's very interesting how all these different things are playing out. Yeah. Right at the end of Elvis's life. So let's keep going.
A fast, dusty, and fun golf cart ride around the grounds. Ginger enjoyed it and looked forward to spending more time with her. One afternoon, she was sitting on Elvis's bed while he was standing at.
So quickly to briefly mention Lisa. Obviously, Lisa Marie in her book, beautiful Lisa Marie, we miss her and adore her. In her book, has said things about Ginger, hasn't she? Ginger wasn't her favourite. Linda was her favourite. So we know that Ginger has done a sort of public statement concerning what Lisa said in the book. I think she's also said something about what Priscilla said in her book, Softly as I Leave You. These are topics for another time, guys. But Ginger speaks highly of Lisa, says that they got on well. She is surprised by what Lisa Marie said. So that's for another day, another topic, guys, okay? But I know that Linda was missed. I know, by all of the guys, by Lisa Marie, by Billy Smith and Joe Smith. She was very popular. I mean, she's beautiful. I support Linda. I think, isn't it true that most of these people have said things that I wish they hadn't? Yeah, all of them. No matter who I'm talking about. no matter what relative or friend or family. Just the way it is, guys. I wish they hadn't. I wish many things that were said about Elvis were kept private. Private means private. I really do. The whole trash for cash and the whole the press, the book publishers offering large amounts of money to make people say things that didn't need to be said, that could have been kept private. And some things have been exaggerated and twisted as well. So it's all very interesting, but it can be very sad as well. This is quite a heartbreaking chapter, chapter 22, a heartbreaking chapter. I've heard chapter 21 and chapter 23 are pretty tough as well. So we will come back and review them. Today I wanted to do part 2 of chapter 22. So obviously if you want to see part 1, that was yesterday, okay, on Defending Elvis, the channel. Like I said earlier, we will be posting things on Elvis Presley found on Keto, so please subscribe, and on Elvis Presley Long Lost Footage and the Dog Walk Lives. At the moment, I will be doing them on those 2 channels, yeah? So probably the next Dog Walk Live will be on Elvis Presley Long Lost Footage, so please subscribe. Take care, guys. Thank you so much to this channel. Please subscribe to it. It's a great channel. What Now Net. She's lovely. I really enjoy it, and she's done a few Elvis books. I think this is the 3rd one she's done. We will jump around and we will look at all her Elvis book reviews. Thank you so much. See you later, guys. I'm gonna get the kids some packed lunch for school, make them some breakfast. It's still very early. It's like 7:24 a.m. in the UK. I'm in southwest UK. I'm in Weston-super-Mare near Bristol. You see, it's still dark. If you look out the windows, it's still very dark in England, but it will brighten up by the time the kids come down. So the kids tend to wake up with their mum. She dresses them. They watch a bit of TV. Then they come down to me. I do pack lunch and make them breakfast, and they watch a bit of TV with me down here, and then I'll take them to school. I always do the school runs. I love taking the kids to school. Thank you, Defending Elvis. Thank you, Team Elvis, Elvis Defenders around the world. This is a difficult chapter, guys.
At his bathroom sink, he suddenly spotted something outside, grabbed a machine gun, and ran out, saying he thought someone with the gun was chasing Lisa and the other girls. Terrified, Ginger followed him out front, only to realize it was just his cousin's kids playing with the plastic toy gun. They both laughed and went back into the house when they saw one of the tour jeeps making its way up the driveway. That's it for chapter 22. Stay tuned for chapter 23, where they go back on tour and CBS begins filming their special. And Ginger also details an incident where Elvis loses his temper and disappears from their hotel.
Okay, yeah, bit of a surprise ending there. Elvis a bit paranoid. What's happening outside? So it jumps around, doesn't it, guys? It's like it's some of it can be quite distressing, I think. So that's what it is, guys. Chapter 22. It is what it is. So take care. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you all. Probably the next thing I'll do this morning will be the Blancard Tool, Colonel Tom Parker thing, or I may do the Peter Garanik interview. Don't know, not sure, but I am definitely going to do the King Creole review of the making of the movie on Elvis Presley Long Lost Footage. I'm going to probably do that next. I think we'll see. The kids' grandmother comes on Tuesdays, so she will have the kids. I'll be cooking chili con carne and spaghetti later on for them, which does free me up to make a couple of videos. So usual stuff, Louis at home in his kitchen, yeah, with his 5 million children. Take care, guys. Love you all. You're the best.